Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Battle of Ontario Hockey Podcast, featuring a Senators fan and a Leafs fan. We're here to talk about your two favorite teams, the rest of the NHL, local hockey, hockey all around the world, and to bring back memories from your favorite hockey teams and players. If you love the Leafs, Sens, Bsens, NHL, or any other hockey, including the late Belleville Bulls, you are going to want to tune into our podcast. The gloves are off, the buckets are spinning, let's get the chirps flying. Welcome to the Boo Club!
All right, guys, welcome into episode 7 of the Battle of Ontario Hockey Podcast. I'm Flem, and from beautiful Mexico, we have El Presidente, Jeffrey Broekman. Looks like he just came out of the pool there, all crossed up, nice and tight. How's it going, buddy? How's the vacation? Looking good?
It's going good. There's a pool behind me. I didn't come out of it. I just woke up not too long ago, but no, it's beautiful here, buddy. You gotta come down. You gotta get the kids going. I know it's tough. You got a couple kids, but no, definitely fun. I'm still catching up on my hockey. You did hook me up a while ago now with some sort of TV device. I guess we'll just call it that. That's all we'll end it at. So I do watch. It glitches a bit, but the hockey games. I watched part of the Leafs game the other night. Not last night, but a couple nights before that. And a little bit of Ottawa games, but holy, it is just, there's a lot of, actually, we got some cool stuff that might be happening, could be possibly happening in Belleville. Yeah. I mean, one thing anyways. We'll see if that actually happens that way or not. But
and you're talking about sports for the guests, right?
I'm talking about that. Yeah. No, I was talking about a player that could be in Belleville here soon. Yeah, a two-time Stanley Cup champion. Mm-hmm. I mean, has there ever been a two-time Stanley Cup champion play for a Belleville team? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if that pans out. But we got a few things to talk about, and your Leafs seem to be on fire, buddy. They're just cooking.
Yeah, no, I mean they're it's just one of those runs where they're hot right now, right? They've won, I think like 12-1 in their last 13 games. They've won 6 in a row on the road. They've got Justin Wall, the AHL goaltender's up. He's won 3 straights, including his first shutout the other night against the Islanders. So, and Brokey, you always like to chirp me. You say, the Islanders have won so many playoff series before John Tavares. Hey, the Leafs won a game in the Islanders' new rink before the Islanders did. So, attaboy, John Tavares. There we go. Yeah. Sucking Islanders fans, take that.
Well, the Islanders are for me, they're probably one of the biggest surprises this year because they're just terrible. Like, I don't understand it. They're not a playoff team. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on there. I'm really surprised on what's happening there. I don't know if they're going to be able to turn it around and maybe sneak into 7th or 8th in the conference this year, but it's just a bit of a shit show. What if they lost the first 6 games or 7 games in that barn? Isn't it something like that?
Yeah. No, they're last in that division. They only have 12 points right now. So they're legitimately 12 points out of the playoffs right now. And it doesn't seem like a lot. We're still really early. It's not even a quarter way of the season yet. But 5-10, that's not something you'd expect from the Islanders. And the big thing for me is they're minus 20 in goal differential. They've only scored 32 goals this year. They don't have any offense coming in. That seems to be the problem. So they need to pick it up there on the island and pretty quick. Teams like the Blue Jackets and the Rangers are hot. So maybe some teams you didn't expect to make a push in that Metropolitan Division are creeping up. So that's going to be a tough uphill battle for the Islanders, I think, right now. Pittsburgh still wants to jump into a spot in that division, so going to be a fun battle in that Metro division for sure.
I think looking at the stats now, there's no way they're getting in. I mean, you say like, they're only 12 points out, but it's hard to make up 12 points.
Well,
right?
It's hard. You got to
go on fire.
You got to jump 5 teams. That's the problem, right? Like you got to jump Philly, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, like fucking Columbus or the Rangers. Like, it's all good. It's all fun when you're chasing one team down, but you need 4 teams to struggle while you get hot. That's the problem. So they're in trouble for sure.
The only way they're doing that is if they go on some sort of insane run or, they win 18 to 20 games or something stupid like that. That's the only thing that gives them the chance, They have to be a really insane run.
I don't know the Islanders' percentage right now, but they have the same amount of points as Montreal. And I know someone in Montreal Twitter said their chance of making the playoffs are 0.01% right now mathematically. Yeah. So the Islanders got to be, they got to be under 5% chance right now. I know, lots of things can happen. I'm not saying they're not going to make it, but they put themselves in a tough spot to start the year, that's for sure.
I'll say they're not going to make it. I mean, I said at the start of the year they're going to make it, and obviously we're all wrong on that. I don't think they're making it now. I think they're just too far behind. The one thing we did call was Montreal. We did call that.
Yep.
We both said Montreal wasn't making the playoffs, and Montreal's doing exactly what we thought. They're not a good team. They got some puck luck last year. Good goaltending. They lost. Price has been gone. Their captain's gone. Other players have been in and out of the lineup. Kotkaniemi, not a star guy, but just another body that's gone, So that hurts, right? And they're some of their guys are still young. Suzuki's young, right? Like he's going to be a good player. I don't think he's going to be top notch as maybe a McDavid, Matthews, somewhere in even like a Marchand. I don't think he's going to be quite that good, but he might be the next level down. Yep. But he's still going to be a good player. But he's still young, right?
Yeah.
So you got to give these guys time to grow and. They had a big step last year, but things fell in place, and they do. When you get good goaltending, things like that can happen. And obviously, they don't even have a chance at that this year. So, Montreal, we predicted on that one, I think.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's just a lot of things in Montreal. Like it's the curse of the guy that comes in second, right? Like you have all that momentum built up. Like you're grinding so hard for so long, and then when you lose, the letdown kind of happens. You just can't get back up to that same level you need to right off the bat, too, right? And don't get me wrong, missing Carey Price and Shea Weber contributes to that, but a lot of factors going against them this year, and like they're as good as done. So maybe Mr. Dave Amy will give you a little early payout on that bet you got with him, eh?
Well, I don't know about that one because Ottawa's behind them in points. I know they have 3 or 4 games.
I thought it was Montreal wasn't making the playoffs. Yeah, it was Ottawa.
No, but that was Ottawa's going to finish ahead of Montreal. And now my Montreal prediction is there, but my Ottawa prediction. Holy,
this is how Ottawa started last year. Then they made the climb. So
the thing was last year though there was a lot of games where I thought that they deserved to win and they didn't. They got horrible goaltending this year. They've had the COVID bug. They had 10 guys out. They had 15 guys out one game. I think it was they played, and I think 10 were COVID and 5 were injured. How many games are you going to win? And then even coming back, like they've came back. I think they played 3 or 4 games since. Batherson hasn't played one of them. He's their top scorer. Now, he's not a Matthews, but he's still their top scorer. That hurts. Murray.
He's not a Nylander either.
We'll get to he's going to be better than Nylander, I think.
No,
but anyway.
Chance. You seen Willie Motor?
Have you
Willie's
seen
on fire this year
play
right
in
now,
the
buddy.
playoffs? Nylander is scared to
death.
Have you
seen Batherson play in the playoffs? Have you seen Batherson play in the playoffs?
I have, yeah.
Actually, don't give me that bullshit.
I was going to say him Belmo, but
yeah, you haven't seen that.
At least Batherson hits and goes in the corners and stuff.
Well, you know what Nylander does? He scores fucking goals, buddy. 8 shots last night. The guy was buzzing all over. I'm sick of this Nylander. Hey, and I may have been one of those guys, but man, Nylander's looking determined this year. He's looking sharp, and he's one of the better players on the Leafs. Like in my opinion, he may be the second best forward on that team this year. So,
I think he is. I think Nylander
and he's buzzing right now for sure.
The thing is that I know I always talk about this with the Leafs, but it comes to playoffs. But having said that, we had talked about Nylander, and we've both ripped him, and we both said that they should get rid of him and keep Mitchie, and before the year, anyways. Mitchie, because Mitch contract is so hard to get rid of, I think.
But anyways, before the year, I said it was Mitch, but
maybe it was last year going in before the playoffs. We talked about it then.
Yeah, no, for sure.
To get rid of, but now I think with that contract, he's making like $3-4 million less than these guys, and he's outperforming Mitch, and he's one hell of a player. The problem is you got to get rid of one of them. You still have to. I think I still think that they have to, they have to get rid of one of them to be able to allow some more room for depth players. They're going to have to do something at the deadline.
Well, we've talked this over and over again in that it's Dubas' job as the numbers guy to come in and find depth. Like if he's going to build the team like this, he's got to find the depth players that come in at league minimum deals and contribute. And he's getting a little lucky right now, I think, with Kemp and Kasha. Like they're kind of contributing to that third line right now. Everyone's kind of all over them. I don't think they're as great as everyone's saying, but that job is on Dubas. If he's going to build the team this way, he's got to find guys that come in and play on the third and fourth line for league minimum that contribute. And don't just have good Corsi numbers and all that bullshit like he likes to look at. They need to have an impact on the team. So I think that's kind of coming together right now. Like Richie isn't playing as as good as they hoped, but I think that line of Spezza, Simmons, and Richie's kind of a valuable line. Like it plays a role, right? 3 bigger bodies that can come in, play a different style of game than the top 6. So I think it's forming into a little bit more of a team is what I think right now. And so we'll see how it plays out. They're on fire. They're hot. So you can't knock them right now. I love watching the Leafs. One thing I'm fucking pissed about the NHL at, Brokey, no Leafs on a Saturday night. I don't care if they're in California. Put them on back-to-back games. Man, all your revenue is driven from Canada NHL. Like, throw us a bone here. We want the Leafs on Saturday night. I don't want to see them play at 8 p.m. tomorrow on a Sunday in Anaheim. Fuck, give them a back-to-back game. throw them on tonight. I'm fucking sick of it. That makes me mad. But
what
am I going to do tonight? What am I going to do tonight?
You can't have it all, Leaf fans. Maybe there's college football to watch, something like that, buddy. I know you like your football too, with our other football podcast and more NFL related, but still. But you're right. I think that like when the Leafs got off to the bad start at the start of the year, they weren't really getting much jet scoring, anything like that. Now guys are starting to contribute, and then you got guys like Nylander who's played pretty good all year, right? So I think the Leafs are rolling again. April is what matters, boys. You can chirp me all you want. You can say all you want. I know there's guys out there that are chirping me, Hawk and Schultz, what the hell, Spite, all these little Leaf fans, even our buddy, we're trying to get him on the podcast, Rico White, that is. It's about April, boys. But again, if you put yourself in a better position, maybe they can go for first or second. They might play a 7th or 8th seed. We'll see. I guess it'd have to be first in their division, right? The other thing is they could finish first in their division, end up playing the Bruins in the first round, which would be interesting. I was looking at the standings last night and thinking that could happen because Boston's kind of they're a couple points out of it. I think they have some games in hand, but they're still not a top team yet, right?
Yeah, no, they're Detroit. Yeah, Detroit's ahead of them right now, but they got 4 games ahead of Detroit, so.
They'll probably Boston's going to get in the playoffs. I'd be shocked if they didn't. They're probably they might slide in 7th or 8th. Who knows? Or at best maybe 3rd in that division. So we'll see what happens. So they could play the Leafs again, which I'd love that. I would love to see that happen again.
I would love it too. No, I got no problem with that. Like I've said it, I'm the only person I know that likes the new playoff system the way it is. Like I love if the Leafs finish 2nd and Boston finishes 3rd or Tampa finishes 3rd. I don't want to see the Leafs go and play fucking the Rangers or New Jersey in the first round. I want to see them play Boston or Tampa. That's how you build rivalries. They're within their division. I know I sound like I beat the same drum all the time, but I don't know. I personally like it, and I don't give a fuck if it's not fair. Life's not fair. You're gonna have to get through at some point. You might as well take them on right away. So, I think it's always a disappointment when you see these teams not play each other, like the Capitals and Pittsburgh. They had that run where they played each other over and over and over again. It's fucking, I love it. It's one of the best rivalries you can get.
And finally, Washington got over the hump and they beat Pittsburgh. What happened? They win the Stanley Cup.
Exactly.
Bam. They got it, right? And it took them how many years? Crosby won 2 cups before, and it took
I don't want to see
the
Leafs play Carolina in the first round, even if it's an easier matchup. I want to see a rivalry. The playoffs are there to be entertaining, and it's not 19-12 anymore. Like we can fucking adjust things, guys. Like there's lots of things we can do to make this interesting. One more thing about the Leafs before we move on, though, Brokey, is I just want to say, so when Wall got a shutout in the Island the other night, they released a video of the team celebrating with him after the game, right? Kind of everyone all mic'd up. And they did the same thing for Fucali in Washington when he got the shutout the other night in Detroit. I think the NHL needs to do more of that. Like, that is so appealing to a fan. And, like, you and I consider ourselves hardcore fans. Like, if we like that shit, just imagine what the casual people that watch would enjoy that, right? Like, you see a different side of the athletes. Like, it's no more of this little, 1-minute media session where you can tell they're not giving real answers. Like, you see their how invested they are in the team, how happy they are for a young kid. To see him celebrate that moment, I think it's awesome. And I think the NHL needs to do more of that. Like, it's time, no more of the standard interview a guy on a bench or in the hallway after and get some bullshit answer that you know exactly what he's going to say. These guys do have personalities, and there are genuine moments that are captured. I think the NHL needs to celebrate those and show them to their fans. That's what people want to see. That's how you're going to grow the game, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. I love behind the scenes stuff. I love the Road to the Winter Classic. I actually love the I forget the name of it, but the Leafs
All Access
series. All Access thing. I mean, and people are like, you must have hated that. I'm like, no, I loved it because I'm a hockey guy, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't like it was about the Leafs and stuff. Yeah. But the one thing I did like was I knew the end result. So, I mean, that made it easier to watch. But no, it was cool to watch, though, behind the scenes and seeing this meeting was with Keefe and the players and how things are going on. And then, like the one time, like fucking Matthews, he can't say that, I forget what it was about, but you know what I mean? Like, it was just cool to see that stuff. And I love it myself. And I like it with any sport. And it makes you think, like, and I watch like the Sens games, and then, DJ Smith comes on and they ask the same damn questions. And it's like, oh, like, you already know what he's going to say. Like, but I still watch it. But it's like, what if they put like the mic in the room, or I don't know, or
it could be so much better. Like, it could be so much better
for like 2 minutes or 5 minutes after the game or something. I mean, I guess it might be tough for the losing team because, you know, it's going to be negative and they're going to want to punch the camera, but literally, but if the winning team, you know, let's see the winning team every time. Let's see them for the first 2 minutes, you know, just to see what they talk about, how they are, the high fives. I just think, you know, there could be so much more. I agree with you 100% that there can be so much more product out there where it's not just the between the whistles, but it's after, right? Like fans want that. They want to see it. That, you know, when they're seeing Matthews walk in like he's going to a barbecue, they want to see it, right?
Yeah.
So that's before the game. Well, let's see some more after the game.
Right? Yeah. And like, it's kind of like, remember when the Winter Classic thing first came out and we started seeing like the NHL do players like awarding like the hard hat for hardest working players or, you know, give something out every time they win. Well, now you got minor, like that was not a thing in minor hockey 10 years ago, right? Now every fucking team does it because you see it. You get some behind the scene access as to what teams are doing, what coaches are doing to motivate guys, how you bring people together. And it's actually changed the game. It's just fun. Like, it's just adding more fun to the game. And they'd be silly not to do it, in my opinion. Like, I don't know why they don't do it more. I'm sure the NHLPA has some resistance to it. But if you want to make some money, I mean, that stuff's gold, man. Like, that's way more valuable to me than a Sheldon Keefe interview after a 4-1 win where he's just going through the motions, right? Get the moments immediately after, get their reactions. And, man, even if it's only a minute, like, you can edit things. Like, we edit this freaking podcast, and I'm just doing it from my garage. Like, you can't tell me they can't throw 30 seconds of a clip together for us to give it to millions of people. So figure it out, NHL. Be better.
I like it. I love the idea. The only thing, sorry, there's a blender going on behind me, or in front of me, I guess. But the only thing that would be hard is the losing team. I know losing teams take it harder. The winning team, I think for sure, without a doubt.
You don't
Let's
have to
do
put
it.
it
Let's do it a couple minutes. The losing team, I mean, it might be difficult, but I hate the same press conferences because it's the same answers. You know, we got to get pucks deep. You know, we got to forecheck. We get behind their D, and we got to
capitalize their opportunities.
Like fucking, it's just the same old, right? And that's the joke around a lot of the sports. People is that hockey players are just too cliche. We say the same things because they're not allowed really to speak out, right?
It's not
encouraged. It's time to, or maybe not encouraged. I don't know if allowed is the right word, but encouraged anyways. And I think some of them do have some really good personalities, without a doubt. I would love to see more of Ovechkin. I just think he's got an awesome personality. I mean, even like a Brady Tkachuk. I don't know who's funny on Toronto, but, you know, it's guys like that, you know, that are going to be encouraged to it. Once they get something going, I think people are going to be entertained, right? That's what it's about at the end of the day. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a sport, yes. You're going to a game, but you're there to be entertained. You don't spend $300 on tickets just to spend $300 on tickets. You spend $300 on tickets for the entertainment of the game, to watch the game, you know, for the lights, the music, and everything to go on with it. The fights, you know, the hits, everything is all entertainment. So I think if we can make it more entertaining, they want to grow the game, let's grow the game.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. But let's pivot off here. I know you got some stuff you want to talk about your Senators. Horrible news in Sens land. Their best defenseman, Josh Brown, out 4 to 6 weeks. So God knows what they're going to do without him. He's been a fucking rock back there this year. What are you going to do, Brokey? How are the Senators going to overcome this adversity here? What are they, 4-13 this year, right? So they are in last place in the Atlantic.
I don't know if I should say what I said when I heard the news that Josh Brown was going to be out for 6 weeks. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to let you guys read between the lines. But you can just imagine and guess what my thoughts were on that. I'm not going to say what they are because I might get in trouble. But anyways, this has been a very, very big struggle. This is supposed to be a step forward. I knew they weren't going to be making the playoffs, but I thought they'd be a lot closer. It's just been anything that could go wrong has. I mean, their defensive game, their offensive game for the most part has been really good. I think they got to be in the top half of the league as far as scoring goes. Obviously last night wasn't the case, but most games they are. The problem is defensively, they are horrible. I've been saying it all year long. Josh Brown, before he was injured, wasn't a healthy scratch once. He's arguably the worst player in the NHL as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, just telling it how it is. You've got other guys on there that just aren't on our defensive core who aren't very good. Zaitsev hasn't been that great. You know, and then we've had some injuries. Mete, I thought he was going to have a big step forward this year. First couple of games, he was all right. Since then, he's just been, and then Del Zotto, when he's in the lineup, that guy's just cop up machine. He doesn't have any strength. He looks weak on his ankles. I just don't get it. And then for the first part of the year, they wouldn't even play Brandstrom ahead of these guys, who when he played was better than 3 or 4 of them each game. I didn't get it. Obviously now he's hurt as well. Batherson's been out because of COVID. I mean, there was games where we had 8, 9, 10 guys out just with COVID, plus another 5 with injuries. So I mean, I think there was a 3 or 4 game stretch where we had between 12 and 15 players out. I mean, you can't win on that? It's not you'd say it's an excuse. How the hell do you win on when you got over 10 guys out in a game? Like, it's been one of those years where it's like, holy, like, what else can happen? I mean, I know there's been some clips where, like, they show DJ and he's getting notified that this guy's hurt, right? And it's just like, what more is going to happen? But I think at the end of the day, it's pissed. I mean, I can't be too pissed off because, again, this is a growing year. Hopefully the second half of the season or even the next 2/3, they can find a way to get over this hump and battle the adversity and learn from it and grow. They're not going to make the playoffs, but I never predicted they were anyways. But at least get ready for the next season after that, because that's what it's about. It's always about growing. This is a big growing year. One of the things a couple notes I want to say that I had, first one was, I'm going to start a GoFundMe page for Alex Formington. I love Formington. I have his Belleville Senators jersey. I think he's a phenomenal player, but the guy can't score. He gets so many breakaways. Let's send him to McJesus camp in the summer. Conor Mcdavid, the guy can score in a breakaway. He's got speed. I mean, Formington isn't as fast as McDavid. Nobody is, but he's got to be somebody that's in the next tier because he's got a lot of speed, but he can't score. Like he had a breakaway last night. He had 1 or 2 the night before. Like he gets on average, I would say, probably a breakaway a game. And he scores
guys like that too.
He's got 2 goals.
Remember Michael Grabner, you get like 15 breakaways a year and score one. Like, there's always someone like the Leafs used to have.
Connor Brown got a lot last year too with Ottawa.
Kluleman was a guy that used to do it for the Leafs. Like you get 30 breakaways a year and Barry won.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think he's the guy that's going to start scoring though. He started that with Belleville a little bit, was getting the chances, wasn't scoring, and then chances kept coming, and he developed and started putting the puck in the net a little bit more. I think he's going to start scoring. I don't think this is going to be long term him. He's only 21, 22, I think. So I think he's a good piece. Obviously Batherson out. It's been a bit of a struggle. They put Stutzla at center for the first time the other night. I actually loved it. I mean, I just want to see something different. I've been talking about this since last year. I don't know if you remember our podcast from last year, but I was like, try him at center. I mean, they tried anything, but they've got so many guys that are out at the, okay, 2 more points with that. So the other thing is Ottawa has, and I don't want to say this as a negative, but they have too many Tyler Ennis type players, and nothing against Tyler Ennis. I played ball hockey against a guy who was the best ball hockey player I've ever played against. He beat us in nationals. I probably told that story before, but anyways, the guy's an NHLer, but he's an NHLer on a weaker team. He works his ass off. He goes to net. He puts up some points, but he's your NHLer on your typical Arizona Coyotes team. The typical team that doesn't make the playoffs, so many guys they'll pick up, and we have too many guys like him. It's not just him. There's other guys in Ottawa that just, if they're not making Toronto's lineup, or they're not making Tampa Bay's lineup, or they're not making maybe Boston's lineup, or any top, maybe Florida's lineup. I'm just naming top teams, right? Mm-hmm. They're not making these top teams lineups, but then they go to a team now that has, because they're in a rebuild, Ottawa, or Arizona's my always one, because Arizona always picks up these guys. I hate to say it. There's too many guys like that. When you're third or you're fourth, but even sometimes players on your third line, especially this year, it's definitely been their third line, that have players like that, it's just not good enough. You're not going to win hockey games. You don't have good enough depth. So I'm not saying, like, you can have maybe 1 or 2, but when you got 6, 7, including defense on there, it's too much. You're not going to win hockey games. And unfortunately, I mean, and Tyler Ennis earned his way on this hockey team. There's no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. He signed a PTO and earned it. That's the problem I'm looking at is it's not about Tyler Ennis. It's about Pierre Dorian not signing the right guys. Mm-hmm. Right. And I know he's still waiting for guys to come up, but there's not a ton more coming up. There's a few. Ridley Gregg is coming up. Hopefully next year he's going to be one hell of a player. And we've had injuries. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, you got to weed out these. I don't want to say Tyler Ennis type players, but that's style of player.
I wanted to kind of bring this up to you. And how do you move on from your building stage? Because you always say they're not rebuilding anymore, they're building, right? So I mean, it's time to start building. And I mean, you can't build with Tyler Ennis in your lineup. You got who's on their fourth line there, like Kelly,
Parker Kelly. Parker Kelly's an NHLer. Watson is maybe a fourth line in the lineup NHLer only because of just. He does like to fight. He can kill penalties.
Well, he can hit in the playoffs. So I think he can
hit. So he's a guy you'll have in your depth chart for sure. Yeah. But Dennis isn't going to be fighting or hitting or anything.
Here's my thing. Why wasn't Ottawa a player on Jack Eichel? Like, so we say Stitzel's moved over to the middle now, and we've been calling for that since last year. We said you need more depth down the middle. You need Norris, you need Stitzel. Why wasn't Ottawa a player on Eichel? Like, I think that's someone they could have picked up with the prospects.
No, for sure. I don't have an answer to that. But I don't know. I don't know if they're just shy away from it. The biggest concern for me, though, isn't just about Eichel. It's we haven't been a player on anybody in a year.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I don't even know the last guy we picked up. Like, we signed Murray 2 years ago. And we're going to get to him in a second. But, I mean, they didn't pick up anybody in the summer rather than, Sanford, I think. Like, who the hell? He had a hat trick the other night. Okay, good for him. He's still not a top player. He's a third or fourth liner on a good team if he's lucky. I mean, he's not a first liner. He's playing on the first line right now because Batherson's out. Like, it's like, he's not a first liner. And there's no way in hell. He's not even a second liner. So the other promising thing is Thompson has been playing. Lassie Thompson, he's captain of Finland a couple years ago, played a little bit in Belleville this year. He's been playing really well. He's played the last few games with Ottawa. He's stepped it up. He's been playing a little bit with Shabbat. He's going to be a good future. The other one is Sanderson. I've been saying this. This guy's going to be really good, 4th overall. Was he 4th overall? Yeah, 4th overall last year. He's going to be a really good player, I think. I think he's going to be a top defenseman. I think he's going to be a little bit of a shutdown. He's going to have some offense, but he's not going to be just flashy offense like an Erik Karlsson or even a Shabbat. He's going to be able to a little bit between, be able to play a little bit of both sides. Almost like a Pratish Bergeron, but defensive player. That's kind of what I see in Sanderson. So I think he's
a horrible comparison.
Why?
You're comparing a centerman. You're comparing a centerman to a defenseman. You couldn't find another defenseman that couldn't fucking play that role. I don't know, man. Jesus Christ. Morgan Riley. There's a guy that plays both sides.
I'm not talking about Morgan Riley. Fuck, Shabbat's better than him all day.
Oh my God, not even close. We'll see come Olympic time, buddy. Morgan's going to be on that team, and Shabbat will not be.
I would take Shabbat over him any day of the week, but
of course you would.
Anyway, wow, it's true. Morgan Riley, Christ, you ever see that guy playing the playoffs? Oh, you want to cry after? You want him on Team Canada?
Shabbat's looked good in the playoffs, hasn't he?
Shabbat looked good on Team Canada World Juniors, didn't he? He was the best defenseman in the tournament.
So did Morgan Riley. You forget that? You forget that?
No, I did forget that. Was he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Morgan.
I vibe to that one, buddy. I vibe to that one. I actually don't remember that one. I only remember the Shabbat one. That's because it's a Leaf fan, right? Or a Leaf player. So, okay. So the last thing we will get to with Ottawa is last night. Well, they played. Yeah, last night they played yesterday at 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So. Matt Murray was a healthy scratch for the Ottawa Senators. First time ever. This guy's making $6.25 million, I believe, a year for 4 years. Is in year 2. So that's Pierre Dorian signing. He hasn't been good. He also hasn't had the team in front of him, especially the defense. So I'm going to stick up for him a little bit. But they're putting him on waivers today, is the rumor. I don't know if it's been official yet, but it's supposed to be going today. And if he goes on waivers, he has 24 hours, right, Flem? And if nobody picks him up, no, he has 24 hours where a team can pick him up. I don't believe anybody's going to pick him up because that's a big contract for a goalie. First off, they have to have the room. Second off, they got to have the room for a goalie. Like, they're going to sign a third goalie, So we'll see if anybody picks him up. If they don't, Ottawa can then send him to Belleville, the Belleville Senators.
Proud partner of Blue Club and Pay It Forward Sports, by the way.
Yes, and he'll play for the Belleville Senators, who actually the Belleville Senators have been really well lately. They've won some games. They every time I look, they're winning. So so awesome for them. It'd be good for them.
What you're saying is I'm going to be going interviewing Matt Murray next Saturday night. Is that what you're saying?
I hope you do, buddy. I really hope you do. Now you're holding this to it, so I want you to do it. Matt Murray's playing next Saturday. You're going, Fleming.
I'll be at the game.
Saturday. You're going to miss the Saturday Leaf game. There you go. You can watch it on your phone or the screen. I'm sure they'll have a screen there. But that's 2-time Stanley Cup champion. I still question. See, that's the thing about Matt Murray. They're like, 2-time Stanley Cup champion. You know that after he won a Stanley Cup, the next year he was then considered a rookie because he'd only played like half that playoffs. Mm-hmm. He did help them win it. No question about it. But I still give a lot of credit to Flower too, which he gets taken away from, and I don't like that. But it is what it is. Matt Murray, we knew it was a questionable signing from the start. We thought if he can stay healthy, maybe he can produce. He hasn't been healthy either. He got COVID. He was injured before that. And the games he's played, most of the times he's not good enough. He, unfortunately, the game I went to was against the Rangers there. He actually had a really good game. And there was a backdoor goal scored to make it 2-1 for Ottawa. But this is against Ottawa, so it was 2-0. And he didn't have a chance on it. And as the player scored, he came through and bumped his head. And he was out, I think, with a concussion or neck injuries. And that kind of stopped him. But that game, he was really, really good. I was really impressed with him. It was one of the best games I've seen from him since he's been in Ottawa Center. And then I was another downhill spiral where he was injured. Then he come back, didn't play well. Then got COVID. Now he's back again and not playing well again. So it's been a struggle with him. If you're Ottawa, what do you do? Would you make that decision? I mean, what do you do with these goalies?
I think I don't know. You got to make the best decision for the team right now. And maybe Murray just needs a little bit of a reset. Like it's hard coming back off concussions and neck issues, especially for goalies. Maybe he's a little gun shy right now. I don't know. I don't think it's if you're going to send him to Belleville, I don't think it's a horrible move. Because even if you bring him back up and someone might claim him when you bring him back up and take that, because I think they get him in half the cap hit if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that's a way to get out from under that contract. I don't know, but you got to go with the hot hand. I mean, if you got better goalies in your system, you can't leave them in Belleville forever. So, when you got guys going, you need to see what they're made of, and I think that's a big mistake organizations make. If the kids are better, give them a shot. Like you're 4-13, give them a shot. See what you have going in next year. Kind of like the Brandstrom situation, right? Like, don't give him a shot next year when you got 3 more rookies coming up that want his spot. Give him a shot now when you're 4-13 and see what you got.
Yeah, the problem is Belleville's had some good goaltending lately as well. So,
I know, yeah.
I think Mandelos is and I forget the other one's name. I'm having a brain fart, but they've had some good goaltending. There's lots of good goalie prospects in Ottawa's system, fortunately. So that's one good thing. And even though we lost Joey Decord last year to the expansion draft, but we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, it's another one. So far, anyways, another one of Pierre Dorian's terrible NHL signings. I believe that Pierre Dorian and his team are in my opinion, they're one of the best amateur scouting teams, and they're one of the worst pro scouting. It's crazy the difference. Their amateur scouting, I really like. I like the players they've drafted and all this stuff. And then you look at the pro guys that they've brought in. They're terrible. There hasn't been one really work out yet in the last 5 years. I don't know who it would be that they've traded for or that they've signed in the offseason. Every player has, like Dadnoff the year before. Like what was
the last one
right?
that worked out that I can remember is Kyle Turris. Like Kyle Turris had a great run with Ottawa.
That was 10 years ago.
I know, but that's what I mean. Like that's the last one. That's the last one I can think of. That's what I'm saying. Like when you trade Turris for Duchesne, like that didn't work out, right? Like so.
No. Yeah, like it's been crazy. So I don't know. It's I don't want to say it's a lost cause in Ottawa land because it's not. They're still rebuilding. Well, they're still building. Sorry, I just used that wrong term. But they're building. The word I think for me is they're not really getting rid of a lot other than the garbage players. They're not getting rid of their big players, right? That's where the rebuild comes from, if you think of the term. Yeah. Now they're building. Now they got to keep getting these younger players up, but they got to start bringing a couple good veterans, not 4 fine vets. The players they're bringing up are mostly terrible.
Yeah.
Or signing, right? They're signing. Anyways, that's where it's at with the Ottawa Senators, buddy. So, and the Belleville Senators, on the positive note, are doing really, really well. Get out, catch one of their games. You might even see a 2-time Stanley Cup champion in the lineup.
For sure. So, all right, Chump, I can see you want to go jump in that pool behind you there. So do you want to do Champ or Chump? And I could kick your ass for what is it going to be the 13th week in a row here that I come on top of this or what?
Yeah, sure. You got the odds here because you're going to have to tell me all the games because I'm on my phone, so I don't have anywhere to look it up.
All right, buddy. I'll give you the first one here. So afternoon game. What's that? Sorry, go.
No, go ahead.
Seattle Kraken versus the Florida Panthers. You're up first since I'm giving you the odds.
Okay, well, I'm going to take Florida. Now, who's at home?
Florida's at home.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking Florida all day.
Yeah. That's a pretty easy one. I mean, Seattle's the expansion team, so still feeling that. So, yeah, I'm going to take Florida. No crazy upset from me. So, let's move on to another banger. This is going to be a good game, buddy, here. The Buffalo Sabres at the Detroit Red Wings. Who do you got here?
It's your goal.
Okay, well, I'm going to take Detroit. I think Detroit's hot. Bertuzzi's a guy who's going to be in the lineup at home. So, give me Detroit. I think they got more juice than Buffalo tonight.
I got to go with Detroit as well. Buffalo's been sliding hard, as we all predicted. We don't think they're a good team. They got off to a really good start. Good for them. But they've been sliding. Detroit has actually been a surprise. I still don't think they're as good as they're playing, but they are playing the Buffalo Sabres tonight. So, they're at home. And like you say, Bertuzzi doesn't need a COVID shot to be at home. So let's predict Detroit. So we're both on the same page right now. I think you're on mute, bud.
Sorry, buddy. Didn't realize I was on mute there. Had a little cough. Still getting over this cold. Not COVID, so don't worry. But that's why I'm not in Mexico. That's why I'm not in Mexico with you right now. I got a little cold. Couldn't get over the border. But All right, buddy, here we go. The McJesus and the Edmonton Oilers are going to Las Vegas tonight. Where Pay It Forward Sports is sending a team here in a couple weeks, Brokey, so that's big news for us. But Edmonton versus Vegas, who do you got?
It's in Vegas?
It is in Vegas.
I'm going with McJesus. He's on
Me
a roll.
too, fuck.
The Oilers are on a roll. I just think they've made a big turn this year. I love the Hyman. I mean, there was a rumor, not a rumor, but a post the other night about Zach Hyman possibly making Team Canada. And I'm like, holy, I don't know about that. But it's always, there's always a player like that, though, that makes it seems, right?
So we can get into this one. Because I would think of this. I would even thought of this last year that he had a shot. I think Hyman can make the Olympic team, in part because he plays with McDavid. But he serves a role too. Like he can go out there and kill penalties. You don't need McDavid and Crosby out there killing penalties. Hyman's a premium penalty killer. And the only reason he looked a little bit out of didn't look great killing penalties in Toronto is because they had him playing center. You throw him out there with Patrice Bergeron, that guy's gonna kill a fucking penalty. So I think Hyman's got a spot. And if that big line that they're kind of predicting of McKinnon, McDavid, and Marner doesn't work out, maybe Hyman's a guy that slides up to that wing and takes that spot. So I think that's a realistic shot. Zach Hyman makes that team.
I think it's a realistic shot too. And there's always a player that makes it that you could put on paper that another player should have taken that spot. But you have to understand it's about filling, and we're going to get into more of this in the next month or two on the podcast, but it's about filling roles. You can't just take the best 22 or 24 players or whatever it is. You have to fill roles, right? You can't take, if the top 7 defensemen are all right shots, you can't just take 7 right shots. You got to get a left. Maybe not. It doesn't have to be 3 and 3 or whatever, but you got to have at least 2 probably left shots. And that's not really the best.
And chemistry comes into play too. Like there's always those years where who was it? They would always bring Bo Meester and Pietrangelo. Like at the time, Bo Meester was kind of on the downswing of his career, but man, they're a defensive pairing. They play together, and it's kind of the same thing this year. Like you're doing the. It's Pietrangelo again, but who's the other defenseman? Oh, I'm having a brain fart right now. Who's a good defenseman in Vegas that's projected to make the team?
Oh, I forget his name too.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's a great player. We talk about him all the time.
I'm gonna go look his name up here. It's bothering me, but just things like that, like chemistry comes into play on these teams, Roki. So Seabrook and Keith, they're the maybe Seabrook wasn't the best defenseman in the league when he was making those teams, but when you play with a guy over and over and over again, it's something you got to consider, right? So I think Hyman's going to squeak in there. What's his name here? I'm just going through their lineup. Of course, he's out. Fuck. Theodore? Maybe it's Theodore. Theodore. So
Theodore.
Maybe that's something sneaks in, right?
Yeah, he might. You never know. But no, I like the Hyman. We'll have to watch. If he keeps up his good play and he's putting the puck in the net, I think he makes it. I think he does. I think you got to have those grinder type players. You got to have guys in the corner, who are going to get other guys the puck too, right? But anyways, what's the next game, buddy?
Yeah, let's fly through these next couple here because they're garbage games, broken. So we got Montreal versus Pittsburgh. Pretty easily for me. I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, not a chance. I'm taking Dave Amy's Montreal Habs.
Yeah. And then the worst team in the league we got, playing here. We got the Ottawa Senators versus the LA Kings. The Kings are at home. Give me the Kings. I don't think the Senators are. I just don't think they have enough talent to get through right now.
Go Sens, go! I'm taking the Sens, boys. The Sens are coming back. They got to win one of these games. Something's going to happen. They're going to score. They're going to be up. They're going to win 4-1 or something. There's my prediction.
4-1. Roki calls it. There we go. So bet that on your score on Bet365. That's probably about a 20-1 bet, Roki. So throw a couple hundred down on that, buddy.
If it's 21 bet, would you? Well, I don't know if I bet 4-1, but I'll bet that. I'll bet the. You should tell me after what the odds are for that, just to win, just for Ottawa to win. Anyways,
just for Ottawa to win, they're plus like 167. So bet 100, win 267.
I might bet 100 on it.
There you go.
Okay, we'll talk about that after, buddy.
Columbus Blue Jackets versus the St. Louis Blues. I'm just going to take the home team in this one. I haven't really seen enough of St. Louis this year to make a call, but I'm just going to take the home team in this game.
Who's the home team in the game? You didn't tell me.
St. Louis.
Oh, okay. You just said you didn't see enough of St. Louis, I thought.
I did. I said I haven't seen enough of St. Louis,
but you're going to take them.
I'm going to take the home team.
I'm not a big Columbus fan either. That's the thing, right? I'm going to go with St. Louis as well. I want to bet against you, but it's too hard. You're taking my bets. You're taking my guys.
And the second worst team in the league here. So we got the Dallas Stars going to the desert, playing the Arizona Coyotes. I can't bet on the fucking Coyotes. Like, I've just got this hate going on for the Coyotes right now. They're just not even trying. Get free Phil the kill for Kessel. Bring him to Hamilton. I don't care. We need a change out there in Arizona. I'm sick of it. Give me the Dallas Stars 6-1.
Yeah. So we're both going to Dallas. But here's the thing, and we didn't talk about this, but what about Arizona going to Quebec? Apparently, the Quebec Premier is trying to get them, trying to get a team in the NHL still, in Quebec. And I mean, what you think that's just a publicity thing? Do you think it's politics in there? Do you think he's actually trying to do it?
I think Gary Bettman and the owners are married to Southern hockey. They don't want to give it up. It's shown they're not going to give it up. Like, man, if you were playing poker, you would have folded this hand a long time ago. Like, this is the longest bluff the world's ever seen. Like, we're going on fucking 20 years. It makes no sense to me why there's
a team in Arizona. None. It makes zero. Like, it's just the team's terrible. They can't do anything. They haven't rebuilded. They're trying to lose. Like, it's just
exactly.
I don't get it.
It's an integrity issue for
10 years.
It's an integrity issue for the league for me. Like, these are the guys that bring in Pavel Datsyuk's contract when they go to Russia. They bring in Chris Pronger's contract when he's got an eye injury and he's retired. They're not even trying to win. It's a disgrace to the league, and I'm just over it. I
say Arizona to Quebec. Do it. Come on, Gary, make it happen.
Well, yeah. Give the fans what they want to see. Like, if you want a little more entertainment in the game, man, Quebec is the most passionate place in the friggin' world. Like, we've been there numerous times. Those people just go crazy. The bars are open till 4 a.m. Let it rip. Let's bring a team to Quebec. I'm all over it.
Have strippers right in the game. There we go. You guys want entertainment. We got entertainment.
Oh, hope the sponsors don't watch now, Brokey. Jesus, look at this guy going on.
That was a joke, by the way. But you know what? Vegas has dancers in their aisle. Not strippers, but that was a joke.
Some people can't handle jokes anymore. So
yeah, but no, Vegas actually has. I actually wanted to mention this when you were talking about it earlier. Is they have dancers and like the Vegas. When you go to the number one thing is when you go to a Vegas hockey game. I haven't been, but I've watched many and seen the highlights and YouTube videos and everything. That is a show in itself. We talk about being a show. I love to see Ottawa because they're my team, but other teams too. Make it more of a show. Have dancers. Have more fun. Have people spinning a wheel or whatever they do before the game, and have better entertainment. Not just some old band that we haven't.
Everyone, like remember the Herd back in the day. Like, people want to get engaged and they want to cheer, but someone's got to drive the bus, right? Like, you need a couple nut bars that are pushing the pace and that bring people into it. So. If you need to promote that yourself and bring some hired entertainment, like, fuck the mascots. Like, no one's getting up for mascots anymore. Bring something that's different. It's kind of like we're talking about. NHL needs to pivot away from these stage interviews and do some behind the axis thing. Get the fans involved too. Have someone start and chants, do the horns before games, do anything to make it more fun. Let's live a little here, guys.
Yeah, well, the mascots are for the kids, so I mean, you got to keep them around, but they're not gonna do what we're talking about. So, but anyways, but I think Quebec would be awesome. I know. I went to a game, and I've been to games in Montreal, and it's unbelievable. The fans, they get right into it. They're there before puck drop. They're not like Toronto and Ottawa and other places that it takes them 5 or 10 minutes to get to their seat. Once the game started. No, they are all in their seat before the Montreal Canadiens enter the ice. That's one thing I saw, and I loved it. I was like, this is amazing. This is a hockey city, exactly. and just down the road, Quebec City, they would do the same, especially if they finally got a team back. They know, holy, we got to do anything to hold on to this, and I think they would. So I think it's a no-brainer to me. The rink's there. I think send them there.
All right, so screw you, Arizona. Gary, bring a team to Quebec. That's all we got to say. But this is a good game. I'm looking forward to this one tonight. A little late one. The Nashville Predators at the Colorado Avalanche. Brokey, who are you going this one?
I like the Avs.
Yeah, I like the Avs here too. I was going to say, I thought McKinnon might have been out, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to have to look that up. But for the sake of the show, give me the Avs. And the last game of the night, Brokey, I'm going to take the underdog in this one because I know you're going to go Calgary. But the Winnipeg Jets at the Calgary Flames. Give me the Jets in a money line upset tonight, Brokey. I'm feeling Mark Scheifele might break out of his little, he's had a slow start this year. A guy that's on the bubble for Team Canada now, but the Jets are going to start getting hot here. So give me Winnipeg over Calgary.
Was it last night or 2 nights ago they lost to Minnesota? Sorry, my time frame's a little screwed up. They got smoked like 6-0. It was yesterday, I think.
I'm not sure.
So I'm taking Calgary because well, you know what? Usually a team bounces back, but if it was yesterday, they could be even tired. If it was 2 days ago, I like the Winnipeg, but I'm going to say I think it was last night. I'm going to take Calgary. Calgary's on fire. They are the biggest surprise. I mean, coach of the year got to be going on right now unless something drastic happens. Yeah. How do you not predict that, right?
For sure. No, I agree. Yeah. So
the changeover from last year to this year to Calgary is I don't even get it. They have I think it's the best defensive record, like most shutouts. It's just insane. It's insane.
Yeah. No, Markstrom's on fire right now, so that's a team you got to watch out for. But I don't know, feeling a little upset tonight. But I think that's all we got here today, Brokey. I can see you want to go jump in the pool here and probably down a few margaritas. Isn't that what you're looking for?
We're going to head to the beach here soon, but I'm glad my internet cooperated. That's one really good thing because it didn't last night when we were going to try and do this. I think the nighttime, honestly, is worse. I don't know why, if more people are on it.
Yeah.
But next time we talk, probably, I don't know what, next Thursday, I think, I'll be in Cozumel, Mexico. Hopefully my internet's good there. I'll try and we'll try and cooperate. We'll have a guest on, won't we?
We will have a guest, yeah. I don't want to announce it yet in case it falls through, but yeah, we should have a guest coming on next week.
Our guest, we were supposed to have, just for anybody listening, we were supposed to have a guest on Tuesday.
Monday.
It was originally Monday, and I got changed to Tuesday, and both days didn't work. So he is postponed until future dates, but we are going to have him on, and I think people will love him. But we have a different guest coming on next Thursday.
Yeah, for sure. So that seems locked in. I'm pretty firm about that, Brokey. But so big news in Pay It Forward Sports land too. Pay It Forward Sports starting to pick back up. Nothing we're going to officially announce right now, but some tournaments are coming back to the Belleville area and the surrounding area here coming up. So we got some hockey tournaments coming up January, February, and March, and maybe even a big one in April, Brokey. We're trying to firm that up, but lots of plans going down for Pay It Forward Sports and Boot Club Sports, who now is a partner of the Belleville Senders. So Brokey and I will be at some Senders games doing some interviews and maybe getting some guys on the podcast for everyone to enjoy as well.
Yeah, and I mean, we can't officially announce them all, but Fleming and I have plans for pretty good tournaments in each month from January, pretty much the whole year, right? But already up until I think August is where we're already booking, and we're booking in now into September and October. We just have to finalize everything and get numbers together before we release all the dates. But there's a tournament every month, summer hockey, summer golf, and we're going to try and fill in some other ones such as baseball. What was the other one we're going to do?
Ball hockey.
Baseball, ball hockey, big road hockey one. Yeah. So, I mean, there's lots and lots of things on the go with Pay It Forward Sports and, of course, Boot Club Sports. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember, Leafs suck, go Sens, go.
And Brokey, I got one question from the beautiful country of Mexico. Are you in?
I'm in the Boo Club.